Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So March 2026 is officially in the books, and I gotta tell you, this was an absolutely dense, pivotal month. If we look back at the history of artificial intelligence, I really think March 2026 is going to be remembered as the exact moment when the seemingly unstoppable, limitless potential of AI software finally slammed headfirst into the physical, legal, and human limits of the real world. We are officially moving past the theoretical and right into the friction of scale. I am so incredibly excited to break this all down for you today because the signals we're seeing right now, they're going to completely reshape how we build and how we work.
All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. March 2026 AI breakthroughs. 2. The trillion-dollar power squeeze. 3. Anthropic versus the Pentagon. 4. Workforce contractions. And 5. What this all means for you. Let's get into it.
Section 1. March 2026 AI breakthroughs, or when software feels limitless.
Okay, let's jump right into the realm where software truly does feel like magic. OpenAI set the stage in a massive way, with a staggering number, 1 million. That is the new context token capacity of OpenAI's GPT-5.4 release, which, by the way, comes in both thinking and provariance. Now, basically, tokens are just pieces of words, and a 1 million token window means you can feed the AI massive amounts of data all at once. We're talking about the ability to ingest entire code bases or gigantic document corpora in just a single API call. For developers, the context ceiling is honestly no longer a hard constraint for most document processing tasks. It's a total game changer for what you can feed a model in one go.
But get this, that wasn't OpenAI's only move. They also rolled out GPT-5.3 Instant. This is a model specifically targeting those latency-sensitive use cases where speed is absolutely paramount. And, just to add a bit of mystery to the month, a Reuters report actually revealed that OpenAI has reportedly started building its own internal rival to GitHub. We don't have all the public details just yet, but their ambition to literally swallow the entire developer workflow, yeah, that is crystal clear.
And hey, the breakthroughs extended well beyond OpenAI. Alibaba's Qwen team shipped their new 3.5 models, really cementing their status as some of the world's most popular open-weight LLMs, even amidst the departure of a highly visible team leader over there. Meanwhile, Nvidia answered the intense pressure of enterprise adoption by releasing NemoClaw. Basically, this is an open-source stack designed to finally bring crucial privacy and security controls to the OpenClaw agent framework. You know, the system that allows AI to independently execute multi-step tasks. The software ecosystem is just sprinting forward right now.
Which brings us to Section 2, the trillion-dollar power squeeze, hardware hits a wall.
So what actually happens when infinite software demand hits the very finite reality of our physical infrastructure?
Well, at GDC 2026, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang dropped a number that absolutely shook the industry, $1 trillion. That's the projected demand for Nvidia products through 2027. But here's the friction. Nvidia projects it can only actually fulfill that massive demand by 2028. The sheer appetite for compute is officially outstripping what the immediate supply chain can handle.
And the friction actually goes way deeper than just manufacturing silicon. It literally comes down to raw electricity. S&P Global warned that big tech's massive $635 billion AI spending commitment is about to face an unprecedented energy shock test. And compounding all of this, Morgan Stanley issued a pretty sobering warning. We are looking at a 12 to 25% power shortfall by 2028. So the absolute crucial point here is that the infrastructure constraint isn't just about chips anymore, it's about the physical power grid's ability to actually keep the lights on for these data centers.
Section 3. Anthropic fights the Pentagon. Institutional friction.
Because physical infrastructure isn't the only limit being tested right now. We're also seeing some serious institutional friction. In March, Anthropic actually won a preliminary injunction against the Department of Defense. And honestly, this just brilliantly illustrates how legacy legal frameworks are colliding with AI. According to CNBC, the presiding judge cited First Amendment retaliation as the basis for the ruling. Think about that. A federal court actually found merit in a First Amendment argument made by an AI company against a massive government agency.
The downstream implications of this are massive. This firmly establishes an evolving compliance precedent. For any enterprise or AI company out there trying to navigate government contracts and regulatory pressure, this is a legal environment that is literally being built in real time. Now, the precedent isn't fully settled, and it might get appealed, but it is an incredibly vital space that we all need to be tracking.
Section 4. AI teammates and workforce contractions, or the human impact.
Let's bring this friction down to the human level for a second, because the labor signals from March are incredibly stark. On the contraction side, a Reuters report highlighted Dell dropping 10% of its workforce in fiscal 2026. Atlassian also saw layoffs, with The Guardian bluntly describing it as, quote, "First came the AI teammates, then the layoffs." But then, you flip to the expansion side. Wearable tech company Whoop announced plans to grow its headcount by an explosive 75% ahead of a likely IPO. And Burger King, they're piloting AI-powered coaching headsets, which, hilariously, they named Patty, in U.S. restaurants to handle live service coaching and inventory. So, AI is simultaneously shrinking some departments while radically expanding others.
And the cultural approach to the shift really matters. Research published in March from institutions like the Federal Reserve, Harvard, and Vanderbilt compared AI adoption globally. It turns out, U.S. workers reported significantly higher AI usage rates and way more time saved at work compared to their EU counterparts. The researchers actually attribute a significant part of this gap not just to the tech itself, but to differing management practices. And keep in mind, this data actually predates that massive Claude code adoption wave we saw back in December.
To survive this kind of transition, the pace of adaptation has to be just relentless. Okta CEO Todd McKinnon told Yahoo Finance that companies now need to change roughly 40% of what they do annually just to stay competitive. Now, while that specific 40% figure is a little hard to independently verify, it absolutely tracks with the intense pace of tooling churn we're seeing in developer workflows right now. You literally cannot stand still.
Section 5. What this means for you. Navigating the friction.
All right, so we've seen the software breakthroughs, the hardware limits, the legal battles, and the labor shifts. So what does this actually mean for you, and how do you navigate this friction? First off, you have to prepare for regulatory tension. Right now, a White House AI executive order is being developed with a federal framework designed specifically to preempt state-level AI laws. But on the exact other side, California Governor Gavin Newsom responded with a state executive order requiring firms under state contracts to document safety policies, bias mitigation, and undergo state-level supply chain reviews. This federal versus state tension, it is totally unresolved, and it's going to be a major source of compliance friction for enterprise AI deployments all throughout 2026.
So, to navigate this practically, here's your clear watch list. Number 1, check that GPT 5.4 pricing. Yes, the 1 million context window is amazing, but cost and latency remain very real constraints. Just don't assume it's the default mode for everything right out of the gate. Second, if you're an enterprise using OpenClaw, take advantage of the fact that NVIDIA's NemoClaw is open source. Get in there and audit that privacy layer yourself before trusting it in production. And finally, and honestly perhaps most importantly, scrutinize any assumptions you have about cheap GPU availability. If your roadmap relies on infinite compute, Morgan Stanley's power constraint warning means you really need to rethink your infrastructure planning. Which leaves us with this final, overarching thought. We have built software that feels like it has absolutely no limits, but we live in a world fundamentally bound by energy grids, courtrooms, and human adaptability. Can our physical infrastructure and labor markets actually survive the software innovations of the coming decade? It's the defining question of our time. And the friction? Well, it has only just begun. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes on the data, and I'll see you next time.